Hi, this is Derek Jordan. Welcome to the World Fusion Show, where we bring you the leading innovators in world fusion music. Today, my guest is Christiane Karam, who is a singer, frame drummer, and composer. Christiane teaches at the Berklee School of Music, and I just want to say, welcome, Christiane Karam, to the World Fusion Show.
Thank you so much, Derek. Thank you for having me. It's a joy.
It's so great to have you here today. I'm so glad you could join us. So
am I.
You grew up in Lebanon. You were born in Lebanon, and you grew up during the war. And you told me that music really helped you from a very young age get through a very difficult time. You want to talk about that a bit, what it was like?
Sure. Well, I grew up to an Armenian mother and a Lebanese father. I went to a French school, and then I attended an American university. So I was exposed to a lot of cultures growing up. But because it was wartime, it was very confusing, and it was very difficult. There were a lot of times where, we couldn't go about our daily lives, long periods of time where we couldn't access school, where we couldn't leave our apartment. Sometimes we had to be in the basement. And so it was a very dark time. And from a very young age, I started showing signs of creativity, and I was really into art and music. I loved to sing. And so at age 8, my mom signed me up for piano lessons at a small music school nearby. It was the only one we could get to at that time, and we couldn't get to it all the time, so it was on and off, but it was incredible to have that kind of opportunity to focus on something very beautiful and very differently emotional. And I remember the beauty of it and the comfort of it, but also how confusing it was to put these two things together in my little child's mind, of how such horror could exist, and then how such beauty could exist. So I started asking questions very early on, and I can definitely say that those years really profoundly shaped who I am today, and all the work that I do, all the creative work that I do, musically and otherwise. Yep.
Yeah, it's incredible. That must have been quite something to have such a strong paradox in your early life like that.
Absolutely. And I think the reason I mention all the different cultures and languages is because it was just an added layer of just extreme diversity and beauty, but also extreme confusion, because I spoke 4 languages right off the bat, which is just a wonderful thing, but it was just also a lot to try to figure out musically. There were so many different influences. There was the Oriental side, but I was very deeply influenced by Western classical music, since this is what I pursued for many years, and of course, radio and American and British and French pop, which were also a source of great pleasure and joy at a very dark time.
Who are your favorite pop artists back then?
Oh, so many. I mean, my first imaginary friend actually was David Bowie.
That's great.
And I was crazy about him. And I remember we went to England, and I had all those little badges and T-shirts and posters of him. And it was just such an incredible world to look into. It was like a window of hope for me.
Yeah, I bet. So you came to the U.S. When was that?
In 1998, so exactly 20 years ago.
Yeah, great. And what was the reason for you coming here?
Well, growing up in the war, again, I was interested in a lot of different things, and I was very passionate about biology and medicine. I really wanted to get into that. I was very good at it and really extremely curious about it. And of course, then in my teenage years, I became a rescue worker, and I was exposed to a lot.
Yeah.
And for a few years, I thought I want to save the world, and this is what I want to do. But those extreme experiences again showed me that I didn't want to be around that anymore. While at the same time, music was really pulling at me. I was teaching piano, I was writing for theater, and I was singing to get myself through college. And so after my science degree and after studying psychology for a couple of years, I decided to quit everything and pursue music full time, which for that time in Lebanon was an extremely brave thing to do. And so after, there was also this post-war hope in the country because there was nothing. It was all on us, the young generation, to build everything from scratch. So I really wanted to give that a shot. But after a couple of years, I realized that I had paid my dues and I really wanted to give myself a chance at a different life. And a different way of healing from it all. And so I came here. And I came here and I started over at Berklee College.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I would love to go to watch our first video. This is a song of yours called Wada. Do you want to tell our audience about it?
Sure. It's called Wahda, We Are All One. Wahda is the name of a rhythm in Arabic music, and also it means unity. And so for me, this started out I do a lot of improvisation, and this started out as a vocal improvisation, and I just use voice and drums to develop it, and it celebrates different rhythms from different parts of the world. And the idea is that we are all really connected underneath it all.
Yes, let's go to this right now and watch this.
Academita, academita, kita academita, 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 kita academita, 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 kita dikina tuntada, dikina tuntada, dikina tuntada. Academita, 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 kita academita, 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 dikina tuntada, dikina tuntada, dikina tuntada. Tadikina tum tum, tadikina tum tum, tadikina tum tadikina tum tadikina tum tum tadikina tum tum, tadikina tum tum, tadikina tum tadikina tum tadikina tum tadikina Academita, 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 kita academita, 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 kita academita, 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 kita dikina tuntada, dikina tuntada, dikina tuntada, academita, 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 kita academita, 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 kita academita, 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 kita dikina tuntada, dikina tuntada, dikina tuntada.
All right, we're back. That's fantastic. Great stuff. You, as you were saying, you blend a lot of different styles, world music and Middle Eastern styles. And you're also a teacher now at Berklee. And you work with a choir, Balkan choir, and you have your own group. But tell us a little bit about what you're doing in taking these different Middle Eastern styles together.
The Middle Eastern side is one part of who I am.
Yeah.
Also, musically and otherwise, I partly identify with it, but I also have a very, very strong connection with my Armenian side and with the Balkans, and a very, very deep-rooted kind of love and understanding of classical music and jazz and Western influences. I've also spent a lot of time, I've spent many years traveling the world and getting into different folk traditions around the world, from Latin America to Africa to the Balkans, of course, the Middle East. And I find it very stunning how much commonality there is in all those traditions. And I really have a deep reverence for folk traditions because it's music of the people, it's music for the people, and it's music that was born out of and gives back to community.
Yeah.
Which to me is the main purpose of music that we have somehow forgotten along the way, with the influence of the more Western idea of art form,
Right.
and academia. So folk music to me reminds me of what music is for, what it's about, how it brings people together, how it helps us celebrate our humanity, all the experiences that connect us, birth, death, and work, and coming together for all these things. So I feel like all of these travels and these conversations and that field work that I've done kind of seeps into my music.
That's great. You work at Omega Institute, and I know you've worked with Bobby McFerrin. That must have been a lot of fun.
Oh, that's always such a privilege and such a joy. I'm very privileged to consider him one of my greatest mentors, in terms of the spirit of music and improvisation and the deep freedom of the soul.
Yeah, he's terrific.
Absolutely.
So I would like to go to our next video, which shows your group, you're singing and playing frame drum with your own group. You want to say it? This is a song called Lamma. You want to tell us about it?
Sure. This is a very, very popular classical Arabic song that has been translated and sung in many, many languages around the world. It's very Western friendly. And this was a group I formed just for those concerts we did in Spain that year. But it was a lot of fun, and this is kind of my version of this incredible classic.
Great. Let's go check it out right now. That's so beautiful. Really, really nice.
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Oh, it's
a beautiful
so great.
song.
Oh, it is. I wanted to ask you about the festival that you work with. I know you wanted to talk about that. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. It's a festival I founded 11 years ago. And the idea for it came to me when I was a student around the time 9/11 happened. And there was so much hate and so much discrimination and misinformation about Arabs and Middle Eastern culture that I felt it was very important to create an event that promoted that culture in a different light and educate people who maybe didn't know much about it or weren't getting the very complete picture from the media at that time. So I started working on it, and we started it 11 years ago, and it has become, something I feel very strongly about, and I'm very proud of, because it's very it's a highlight at Berklee, first of all, and also in the region. There isn't anything like it. And we are able to bring in incredible artists from that part of the world and have them work with artists here from the community and also Berklee students from all over the world. So it's an extremely rich experience and very formative and very really rewarding for everyone, and everybody learns from it. Everybody comes out of it enriched and inspired and very curious to know more about different cultures that maybe they didn't know much about before.
Yeah, well,
it's very inspiring.
It's a great thing you're doing. Thank you. Also, I know you direct a Balkan choir. In our next video, we're going to listen and watch some of that. Can you tell us about that experience and for you?
Sure. As I said, I have a very deep connection to the Balkans and music of the Balkans, particularly Bulgarian folk music and Bulgarian vocal and choral music. I've been in that world for many years. I've studied the music. I've spent a lot of time in Bulgaria over the years. So 7 years ago, I started my own choir, and again, it was very, very rewarding. And the music is extremely special in a very specific way, both in the vocal production, in the soul of it, in the rhythms of it, in the harmony of it. And so, again, I work with students from all over the world, and no one is left untouched by the depth of this music. And it's been a joy bringing it to the world. And again, it's also one of my babies. It's called the Pletenica Balkan Choir.
Yeah, and, let's go to that video right now.
Sure.
Wow, fantastic. I love that music. It's really
Yeah, isn't it?
very special, as you say. You know, Christiane Karam, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. It's really been an incredible pleasure having you share your philosophy, your music with us. I'm sure our audience will really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Derek. I think, you know, the world is going through a very difficult time, and I think we're all called to bring beauty and connection, and, you know, the arts and especially music provide a great shortcut for that, to remind us, you know, what is possible. So.
Well, you are certainly doing that. Thank you very much. All right.
Thank you, Derek.
Yes. All right. Hey, it's Derek Jordan. Thanks for joining us today on the World Fusion Show. It's been great having you. Hey, check us out, our Facebook page, like us, subscribe to our YouTube channel, go to derekjordan.com and support the show. It's been great to have you. We've got so many great shows coming up. And as we always say, remember, think globally, listen locally, and support independent music.
جيتك بالليل كان كله ليل كان كله ويل وانت هون بهالليل هلأ فليت قلبي كان ليل وكان كله ليل وكان كله ويل وانت هون بهالليل هلأ فليت يا حبيبي حلمنا حلم لما صحينا كان كله ليل وكان كله ويل راح ورجع الليل هلأ في الليل يا حبيبي عشنا حلم بس راح